how pretty and perfect is this view? The past few years, I've always taken pictures in this parking lot with these lines of golden leafed trees. And now I'm going to take my boyfriend. We're going to go maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow night, maybe Sunday night. We don't know when. Soon. We just got to avoid the rain. And I know he has to work, so it depends on what time he gets off. But it should be so fun. Okay, where are we going? Lovely, thank you. Yes, okay. So, I got all dolled up for the occasion. I'm actually probably going to be taking pictures tonight too, so it's not just the reason. You're not the only reason. But, anyway, just wanted to do in the car chit-chat where I yap too much, where I talk too much, where I say too much, where I overshare a lot. So I was talking to my friend Christy, and she was like, I have news, but I'm not ready to share it yet. And it got me thinking, like, I'm such a blabbermouth. I just say things come out of my mouth too soon before I can stop and think and take them back. And that's the thing with words, you can't take them back once they're said. But I just word vomit my excitement for things. And I've talked about these two huge goals I have currently in front of me right now. I've talked to them about coworkers, family, friends. People know. And they are dun, 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 going back to church and becoming an elementary school teacher. I know. I don't know if I've told the camera, if I've confessed these things to you guys yet. By the way, we're in the shade, so we got time. My camera will not overheat. But let me just say, I am astounded and aghast at who this person is in the mirror when I look in the mirror. Like, I'm so proud of her because she's come a long way. She's come so far in her goals. She's so driven. She's accomplished so much. She's so creative and productive, and she wants to get shit done, and she wants to do good things. And I'm proud of who I am, not in a conceited, selfish way, but just in a prideful, like a positive, prideful way. Like where I'm proud, happy with how I've turned out, who I am as a person in this day and age. You know what I mean? And it's just a really good feeling. Please don't mind my cold voice. I'm getting over it. But I am sick. I've been sick on and off for the past month. This is not my first cold in the past, 4 weeks. It's so stupid. But anyway, let's get into the two things at hand. Going to church again. I vowed never to go. I was unwilling. It wasn't something I wanted. And I've been going the past few weeks with my boyfriend, Nate. And there's something about going because I desire it and not because I'm being forced. My mom would force feed, shove it down my throat growing up. And that was a big part of why I left, because it felt so negative. There's a negative connotation to it, to where it wasn't my free agency or my free will to do it. And going this time around is so different and so beautiful and so special to me. I met with the missionaries yesterday. They apparently don't have to meet with me. They're trying to navigate what the steps are for me to return back to church, and I may or may not have to be rebaptized. See, if you get excommunicated and come back to church, you have to be rebaptized. But there's miscommunication, misinformation if whether or not you have to be rebaptized if you take your name out of the church, like if you withdraw your name and you resign from the church. That's what I did a year and a half ago, last spring of 2024. First, I was inactive on and off for a while. Then I stopped going. Then I withdrew my name. So that was my doing, not the church's doing. So I don't know how it's going to be for me. If I could choose, I would like to be rebaptized because it's a fresh start, clean slate. It's new, brand new everything, and it's symbolic of my journey. And when I was first baptized, I was 8 in the Mormon church. I don't even know if I said. I was a Mormon, born and raised, left the church. This is the church I'm going back to, the Mormon church, the LDS church, the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints is his full name. Anyway, I was 8 years old. You're baptized when you're 8. That's the youngest you can be, because that's the age of free will and free agency in the church. And then I just remember always admiring converts who were adults. And I was like, I want to do that. And I can't believe it that that's essentially me at this point right now. It's come full circle. I desired it without meaning to, and now it's my life. Now I'm the convert at this age in my 20s, my late 20s. And so I was the first to be baptized in my ward. They're called wards. It's like the group of people you meet with every Sunday, and you do church activities with, church service opportunities as well. And you meet with them at certain times of the day and of the week. That's your group, your ward family, your church family. And so I was the first name in a new ward, Badger Mountain Ward, in Richland, Washington, in the Kennewick State. That was where I was born, that was where I was raised, that's the ward that I was born into, that was where my name was, in that ward, as the first baptized member after the boundaries had switched and changed and grew and been developed to make a new ward. So I was the first name of that new ward. I hope I'm making sense. I'm kind of all over the place. It's just so crazy, though. I have the temple view right here. Let me show you. There's the temple right there. And it's all Nate's fault. That's why I'm going to church. It's my boyfriend's fault, because he would invite me but never pester or obsess over it. And so I said no to his invitations. I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to go back to church. I'm sorry, I'm just not. And then he would ask me again. And it was not relentless and annoying. It was just offering and kind and peaceful. And then I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And I loved it. I've only been a few times now, but every time I go, it just feels so good. And the big reason why I left was because blacks in the priesthood, women in the priesthood, girls in the priesthood, and then LGBT, I had so many questions in those areas. And I don't necessarily have the answers that I wanted for those things, but the answer is enough. The church is true. It's as simple as that. And I have a friend on a mission right now, and I have so much LDS family and friends in my life, and so many coworkers who are active LDS, and I can't believe I'm back there. But this time it feels so different. It feels so okay. So that's huge. So I'm going back to church, and this weekend is General Conference, and then the week next will be Relief Society, I believe, where the women meet together during church time. So that should be interesting. A big part of why I left was also because of my social anxiety. I freak out in crowds and groups, and I overthink, I overanalyze, I get too scared, freak out, I psych myself out, but it's fine. The last time we went together to church, I said my name just fine. I introduced myself okay. I didn't stutter or stammer. And I said why I was there. I was like, yeah, and just so you know, I'm attending church again after being inactive for a long while. And I made a comment in class about prayer, and the Sunday school teacher was really appreciative of my comment. So it was a really good experience all around. It was really, really cool and special to me. And meeting with the missionaries yesterday was so nice. And one was really quiet. The other one was pretty quiet, but the other one was like even more quiet. And she had an accent. So when she spoke, I realized, I was like, oh, maybe her English isn't that up to par right now. Like she doesn't really know the language as well. I don't know. But really sweet sister missionaries, really sweet people, and I'm so grateful for them, and we'll plan to meet again in the future. I'm going to be taking the discussions from them. What that means is you learn the gospel in a few different lessons per se, like they're teaching you, right? And then they'll ask you if you want to be baptized or not. So that's the big question. That's what it boils down to. Like, do you think the church is true? Do you want to be baptized in Christ's name? So I just remembered the missionary who spoke slightly more than the other one. And I just like oozed my story. Like I just spilled my guts. And I was just like, can I just share some things with you guys? I know this isn't probably what you're expecting, but can I just share my story? So I did. I did most of the talking. So they didn't even really have time to talk, but they were pretty quiet anyway. But the one who talked more, she was like, I encourage you, so that you're a writer, I encourage you. And I've never been encouraged in such a beautiful way, in something that hit home. So I don't know how to phrase it. Hit home to me so much. She was like, I encourage you to write your story, to write everything you've told us, to write it down. And I basically have. I've written how my spiritual journey and growth story is coming along. And I told her, yes, I will. I'll add to it. So that was huge. And now let's go to me being a teacher. So I wanted to be a teacher for a long ass time. And the only things that turned me away was praxis and me psyching myself out, saying I'm not going to be a good teacher, I'm not good enough. But it was mostly the praxis at the time. So the year 2022, for like 8 months straight, I'm desperately trying to retake, pass these stupid-ass praxis exams. And that's the other thing about being a Mormon. I'm going to swear, I'm going to keep my tattoos, you know. I'm not going to go to church every week. I'm not going to be the perfect saint, okay? That's the other thing. I'm not going to be a perfect teacher either. And that's okay too. But 2022, I'm spending hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars probably. It's probably around 1,000 by the time I had just called it quits. But desperately trying to take and pass these stupid exams. and I just can't do it. I can pass, I think it was 3 of the 5. I think there were 2 that I couldn't pass. So I was wasting money, wasting time, wasting energy, wasting my life, I felt like. And I was like, okay, I'm going to graduate early, as in like before a student teach. I'm not going to student teach. I'm going to opt out. And what I'm going to do instead is be a paraeducator. I'll do something else, something on the side, something instead. So I've been a para ever since. I've been there since January of 2023, and now we are the start of October of 2025. So January 2023, all the way to this point, it's been like 2.5 years. So love this job, love the kids I've worked with. The staff is amazing, the school is awesome, and I can't complain. I could complain about a few things, but I love the school environment. The atmosphere is so fun and just good, with good people, with good souls. So I talked to my boss. This is how it started. I talked to my boss, and I was upset. Sorry. I was upset. 1 second. Okay. I was upset because a coworker of mine who was a para as well, I find out on the first day of school that this is her first day of teaching. I was like, what? She's teaching? How's she teaching? And I immediately, my head's spinning, right? I immediately think like, she doesn't have the credentials, the qualifications, the experience, the history, the schooling. Why her? Why did they not come to me? And I told my boss, Danny, I was like, I wouldn't have said yes if I was offered the job, but I would have been complimented like, oh wow, Emily, elementary education, English education, practicums, like all this history and experience and stuff. And then this girl gets hired. And then the next few weeks I'm talking to other people about it. I'm so sorry. And they're like, no, she got hired on because it's who her husband knows. He knows the superintendent. And I'm like, that is BS. So she has a year to get her student teaching credentials, like to get her teaching certification. And that pissed me off because I was like, she has to do everything still. I'm so sorry. I really want to film this. I gotta finish. Oh, sorry. She didn't have the qualifications, and yet she's teaching as a first-year teacher. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, maybe I do want this. And I told my boss, Danny, that day I didn't want it, but I was kind of lying because I kind of do, and I kind of did. And so she was like, you can do the same thing she's doing. It's a program, ABCTE, and I think that's it, ABCTE, that sounds right. I wrote it down and everything, and I've looked it up, and I've found information on it, and it's something I want to do. And I can get it done in a matter of months, and I can be teaching next fall, a year from now, less than that. And I love kids. I could get emotional thinking about my dreams. And what I want to instill in my classroom, if I get there, if that happens for me, I want to instill self-love and self-esteem, positive self-esteem, because I never had that growing up. I was very shy, very quiet, very socially anxious, very nervous at school, and I wouldn't participate a lot of the time, and I was just too scared out of my mind, out of my wits. And I want kids to feel safe at school, feel loved at school, feel cared about at school, feel proud of themselves for being at school, because that's a big thing. That's a big deal for me. And me having done K through 12 as well as college, that's a huge thing for me. That's a big deal because it wasn't easy. It really was hard. And this is what I want to do. And it's so crazy. I'm going to start crying again. But like, I've been very emotional the past few days just thinking about my life because I'm so grateful for it and it means so much to me. And I really do love my life. I cherish the people in it and the things I'm doing. And I take it very seriously. And I just feel so blessed and so honored to live the life I get to live. And it's just a beautiful thing. I'm just admiring the trees around me because fall is my favorite time of year. Fall is my favorite time of year, and this is my favorite spot in town, especially this time of year, the first week of October. And I'm so excited to take Nate to my favorite place where we can take pictures and just have fun. So, And that's the other update. This is still a promise ring. It is not an engagement ring. It is not a wedding ring. But we are very serious. So, I can't wait for the future because I think it's very bright and hopeful and beautiful. And I got off the phone with a friend this morning with my friend Keely, and that's just another reason. Like, it's another drop in my bucket of beauty and glory, like life is good type stuff. And I'm so honored. How do I phrase this? This sounds kind of cheesy, but how God offered this life for me. He wanted me to live this life. And don't get me wrong, like, it's been very hard sometimes. Like, it's not always good. It's not all good all the time. But I'm so thankful and grateful. My heart's so very full because I had so much of this for so long, and right now I'm kind of coasting and smooth sailing, and I'm out of the harbor and I'm in the ocean and I'm enjoying life, and life is so beautiful, and I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed, and I've worked really hard to get here, to get this job, to live this life, to have these people around me, to have the promising future I do have tomorrow. It hasn't been easy, but it's been good and it's been worth it. I hope this hair doesn't make me look crazy. Oh well. Yeah. So I updated you on spiritual matters, educational / work goals, my relationship status right now. Excuse me, hiccup, burp. Yeah, life is crazy because it's so amazing, but it certainly is crazy. I would have never thought I was going back to church. I would have never thought that I was going to be a teacher. And if there's a roundabout way to do those two things, like with church not being so demanding, like my mom, like not being a perfect saint, and then with my job and education and being a teacher, like that, just knowing like I can still do it without passing praxis. There's another way for me to do it. There's a different exam, but it's not as hard or intense. So I should do it. I don't have to be the perfect saint, and I don't have to take the praxis again. Like, those two things in mind, like, I have a sweet gig right now, and I gotta utilize it. My brother Dakota's like, he didn't say this, but I did. Be like that, how do you phrase it? Be like a fly on poop about this, because like, this is a good gig I have in front of me. This is a good opportunity. And even my boss did this program to become her status right now as the special ed department for paras kind of thing. And anyway, before I rant and ramble on too much more, I just want to say I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. And I just want to close these thoughts with, you got it. Your dreams, your goals, you got it. If they're on the back burner or you think they're dead, but you want them to be resurrected, however you phrase it, like, you can always go back to your dreams and your goals are still there. And that's so cool. So, love you guys. Goodbye.